Well, the Cleburne County Quorum Court recently voted 6-4, becoming the first county in Arkansas to return to paper ballots. A lot of patriots will be happy about this, as there has been concerns regarding election integrity. Joining us today is Colonel Conrad Reynolds and Arkansas Attorney Clint Lancaster to tell us more. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Thank y'all so much for joining us. This is, I would say, some pretty big news for the state of Arkansas that just happened last night. The two of you are have been working on this initiative for quite some time. Colonel, would you first just tell us about what has happened and what this means for the state?
Well, what's happened is we started a 501c4 called the Arkansas Voter Integrity Initiative. And our intent is to educate the quorum courts across the state to let them know they can go to paper ballots. We believe the machines are extremely vulnerable to manipulation, and we think it's time to go to paper ballots, not the old paper ballot, the new paper ballot. And there's new technology that makes paper ballots we can't counterfeit them. They can be used, and there's nothing better than a hand-marked, hand-counted paper ballot for elections. Every cybersecurity expert will tell you that. As a 30-year Army intelligence professional, I will tell you that when you get computers involved in elections, there's always that opportunity for hacking or manipulation, and we just simply can't afford that. Over 50% of the people don't trust our current election process with machines. So we decided to try to change that and started here in the 2nd District. And Cleburne County was the first county that has answered the call to get rid of machines and to go forward with paper ballots. Very, very proud of them. It's a tough thing to do.
Absolutely. And as we mentioned, they are the first in the state to do this. And it did take a lot of courage to pass something like this. Clint, talk to us about the legality of all of this. I know that you all received pushback about if this, what could even be a possibility to happen, to vote with the JPs to return to paper ballots. Talk to us about that.
So your right to a paper ballot is constitutional. It's actually found in the Arkansas Constitution, and it's codified by the legislature in our statute. So the quorum court has the discretion to use either electronic voting machines or paper ballots. It's either or. And so, but it requires a vote of the quorum court to do it. So what the quorum court in Cleburne County has done is perfectly legal, and it complies with our Constitution and our rights to vote. So there's no magic here. There's just people in Cleburne County and the justices of the peace there recognize that there is a problem with election integrity in these ES&S machines that the state uses, and they have resolved that in favor of the people of Cleburne County by going back to not just paper ballots, but hand counting of paper ballots. That resolution they passed was twofold. We go back to paper ballots and we count them by hand.
Yeah, and so what does that look like for people who are used to technology, they are used to the computers, are used to it being plugged up to the internet, and who knows what can happen then. But what does that mean? So it's paper ballots, but then also hand counting. Does that provide more transparency and accountability?
I think it does. When you vote on the ES&S Express Vote, which is the machine that you go and they have the little screen around you and you touch the screen. When that thing prints out your ballot, it has your selections at the bottom, but it also has a barcode at the top. And the ES&S tabulator, the DS200, it's not reading your selections. It's reading that barcode. Now, Jenny Lauren, I know that you are well-versed probably in multiple languages, but I bet that you do not speak barcode. You probably don't read it.
Don't.
Yes. So how do you know that ES&S tabulator is correctly recording the votes that it actually says is on that lower half of the ballot summary card? So, yes, hand counting paper ballots will create more transparency. It will create more, I would say, overall comfort with just the electorate. And as I pointed out to the quorum court last night, if you're an elected official, and I know that you covered Jody Harris's recount extensively, when you do a recount under Arkansas law, it's hey, let's stuff all these paper ballot summary cards back into the same machines that counted them the first time, and let's see if they count them the same way again. And that's not much of a recount. That's not really satisfying. And so, but when you have this resolution that does hand counting of paper ballots, it keeps the machine honest, and it keeps it honest because knowing that there are humans counting that ballot as in addition to running it through a DS200, then yes, there's a lot more transparency. I trust humans more than I trust machine manufacturers from Nebraska that I don't know, I've never spoken to, who won't speak to me. And even when I was on the election commission, it was not satisfying to me, the responses of ES&S.
Absolutely. Colonel, this has been an issue across the country. Most recently, I've seen you tweeting back and forth with Kari Lake in Arizona. I think that anyone on either side of the aisle could look at her race and say, you know what, something went wrong there. And so what do you think this implication has on not just Arkansas, but potentially other races nationally?
Well, a couple of things here. First off, the lawsuit that Clint is being as our attorney for, and he's done an outstanding job. And I think that we're going to win this case. But that particular case has national implications because ES&S, which is the company that runs all of our elections, is responsible for more than 50% of all votes in America. They're all across the country. When we win, that will be a precedent that could be used across the country to get rid of machines. Most people have not really focused on the fact that it's the barcodes that are counted and not the text. And most people don't really understand that. But I want to say one other thing about our county clerks.
Yeah.
And we trust our county clerks. We like our county clerks. They are doing a great job with the information that they have. The problem is they don't have all the information. And once we tell them and show them what they don't know, they go, okay, I did not know that. Well, what do we do now? And we say, well, we got to go to paper ballots. And it's hard to do paper ballots sometimes, right? It's a lot of work. But unfortunately, that's what freedom's all about. Sometimes it's hard work. But once they get their brain around it and embrace that, our job is to try to help them figure out how to go back to paper ballots and how to make this work. And we're going to do it in Cleburne County. I'm going to tell you, the county clerk there, Rochelle Evans, has been great. And we think the world of her, and we're going to help her and make sure that they're successful in going to paper ballots.
Before we talk about counties and what Patriots can do to hopefully get this done in their county, Clint, tell us just briefly about the lawsuit that the Colonel referenced. I know that was filed in December here in Arkansas.
Yes, ma'am. So it's a lawsuit against the State Board of Election Commissioners, the Secretary of State's office, and ES&S. And so what it basically comes down to is after the 2000 Bush-Gore debacle, the federal Congress got together and they passed the Help America Vote Act. And that was meant to get rid of hanging chads and kind of streamline the electronic voting process. One tenet, one principle of the Help America Vote Act is that if you use an electronic voting machine, before casting his or her ballot, the voter must be able to verify that the machine has accurately recorded his or her votes. And so the way this works in Arkansas is you vote on the express vote tablet, you print that out, you take it to the DS200, and you put it in there. Okay. The problem with that, as I've already mentioned, is that the machine is reading the barcode. So you have no way to know if the machine is accurately reading the votes that you cast. The down part, the bottom half of that ballot summary card is essentially worthless because that's not what the machine is reading. And so the Arkansas legislature, when it passed laws related to the Help America Vote Act, actually incorporated the Help America Vote Act into our statutes and said the same thing. The voter must be able to verify his or her votes. And if the voter cannot verify his or her votes based off this barcode and the way it's currently set up, then these machines do not comply with Arkansas law and they should not be used.
That will certainly be a lawsuit to watch. As Colonel, you also mentioned, it will set precedent. Talk to us now about our local counties. I know many Arkansans are probably going to watch this or hear about the news that happened in Cleburne County and say, how can we get that done where we are? What do you suggest?
Well, again, it's got to be a people movement. You've got to go to your JPs, and you got to tell them that you want and insist on having paper ballots, and that you support your JPs in making this vote. On our website, arkansasvii.org. That's arkansasvii.org. You can go on there. You can download the resolution. You can download that, and it will show you. Exactly what the wording needs to be for your county, so that you can get it passed. You can also go to my Facebook, Colonel Conrad Reynolds. We have a link to every county, to the Quorum Court. If you don't know what number to get, you can go there. Again, my Facebook is Colonel Conrad Reynolds. Go there, get a link, and be able to call them. Get your friends to call them. And that is what's going to happen. It's going to have to be a people movement now to get all 75 counties in the state of Arkansas to do this, to vote for this. And we can do it at the Quorum Court meetings. They can do it.
Awesome. Well, Clint, anything else that you want to add before we let you guys go?
Yeah, there's one other thing. So, it seems for a lot of people, they struggle with, how do we do paper ballots? How do we count paper ballots? It's almost like you picked up some sort of ancient Egyptian language, even though 10 or 15 years ago, that's all we did was paper ballots.
Right. Yeah.
And so to that end, the State Board of Election Commissioners they have published like a training manual, checklist, all the stuff that a county would need to do paper ballots. I mean, these are resources, free resources available from the state about how to do paper ballots and checklists and state forms. And on top of that, AVII is dedicated to helping these counties. We're not just asking you to go to paper ballots and then I'm going to like the Bahamas for the election season. We're going to be here to help, and we're dedicated, and we promise to help. If you have questions, if you need any assistance with your elections, we are available, and it is absolutely free. All we care about is honest, open, transparent, and fair elections. That's it.
And I think most people would agree with that. This is a nonpartisan issue. We will link everything that you've mentioned. We have a copy of the resolution as an example. We'll link that as well. Colonel Clint, thank you so much for joining us on Conduit, and hope that you come back again soon.
Thank you
very much.